Well, let's look at how they try and hide something that if you dig not really hard, but if you dig hard enough, you can find it. What does CERN mean? And this is from their homepage. CERN is a European organization for nuclear research. Well, that's not telling me what it means. The name CERN is derived from the acronym for the French Council European for the Research of Nuclear. Yeah, okay. A provisional body founded in 1952 with the mandate of establishing a world-class fundamental physics research organization in Europe. At that time, pure physics research concentrated on understanding the inside of the atom, hence the word nuclear. Now, this is their version of what it means. Okay, so we're talking cornball here because the real explanation is right here. Dr. Otto Cerny revealed his role in the Nazi Bell in the early 60s. Let's see. His name seems to match that word. And if we just get rid of this over here, bye-bye, you have the exact same letters. And this guy was fucking around with the Nazi Bell in the early 60s. Well, he revealed his role in the 60s. CERN was started up in 1952. Let's see. Cerny was working in 1960s while working for NASA. Greg recalled listening to conversations, child, blah, blah, blah. The adventures. Cerny described it as something like a ring of stones with a hoop inside which sat the bell. Sounds like Stonehenge. Cerny also mentioned the concave mirror above the axis through which one could see backwards. How very interesting that is. That CERN itself would try and hide its true ties to these Nazi bastards. Dr. Otto. And the riddle of the gloom beam. And who is it that played this trick? It was Dr. Otto von Stick, however he says it. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on. So here's Dr. Otto and the riddle of the gloom beam. He happens to be in the center of the earth, and he's fucking around with the magnetic resonance and fucking up the money system. Here he is here.
3, 2, 1, showtime! Good evening. Thanks to the miracle of tissue-damaging microwaves, which also cause sterility and cancer, I'm coming to you, the whole world, simultaneously. And what I have for you tonight is a riddle. I love games, don't you? And if you don't answer this riddle correctly, and I believe that you have exactly no chance, it will mean the end of the world as we know it. Doesn't that sound like fun? Okay, trivia freaks, you ready? Because I'm only going to say it once, and not very clearly. You ready? When the money is scrambled to the very last cent, riots and hatred soon is coming. When all the world's commerce will be put in a bind from the evil that lurks where the sun never shines.
The bell, because it sits way down in there.
It is I, Dr. Otto von Schnick,
Yeah, CERN.
who is plagued on you this trick, But who's Dr. Otto? You may well ponder, while all your magnetic cash is gone.
Magnetic cash is currency, which is the magnetic resonance, not money.
It's he who had an eye and yet couldn't see.
There you go. There's your Saturn. Because it's got the eye. They always use the eye.
It's he who served bouillabaisse when he was she.
There's your androgyny when he was she.
It's he who gambled a gun.
That must have something to do with smashing atoms. Firing the reactors and smashing atoms.
It's he who had all, and he had none.
Because Saturn cannot. It doesn't produce power. It only absorbs it, like it's sucking the energy off the Earth.
And to stop this horrible, twisted trick, just exchange the poles of old Saint Nick.
So if you're exchanging the poles of old Saint Nick, that means you have to flip the poles from the North Pole to the South Pole.
And if that doesn't do to save the day, put another quarter in and try another day.
A quarter is not referring to a quarter like in 25 cents. It's a quarter is a measurement of something, maybe an angle, or it's not money. It's referring to something of maybe like an angle or an amount of time that something needs to be done. But it's not currency. This Dr. Otto is referring to the Dr. Otto, that Cerny guy. But this is a children's movie with Ernest as this Dr. Otto. You see how they hide this shit in everything? This is my point of the whole thing. CERN's lying about its name. In another place, you read about the Cerny guy who admits to being involved in the Nazi Bell. And they just happen to name this big, huge fucking place CERN, which comes from the old, really, really, really old, meaning basically the other word for it is corn, and that's where you get children of the corn. So it's Cernus, which is the German god of the underworld, and the other word is corn, like I said, and then you get Stephen King writes his book Children of the Corn, and in the upper, I've showed this before, corner of the book, it says Children of the Corn extra dimensional, and they were like little religious freaks that run around, and if you didn't do things, they murdered you. And, in some fucking weird fucking Saturnian fashion, if I remember the movie correctly. It's all tied together. This fucking Dr. Otto guy fucking with the Nazi Bell and stuff. Like I said, Dr. Evil and Mini-Me, it all comes down to that. And the gloom beam, I mean, this is children's stuff, but they're telling you.